Welcome to the KC Stars, where I interview people in the local filmmaking community and theater community. And I have with me Julia Saia, who is an actress, a singer, and a dancer. I'll let you introduce yourself better than I did. Go ahead, Julia. Go ahead.
I'm Julia. I went to JCCC to do acting there, and I've also done stuff with Pearson Productions. I've also done some ballet, and I also like to sing.
Very cool. I'm going to ask you to move forward just so the light doesn't wash you away there. Not that I'm great with light, but um, when I'm there, I can see you.
Okay,
Oh,
there.
yes, much better. Hey, how did you get started in acting?
In middle school, I went to drama club and I took a theater class there.
Okay. I look back, I saw like 4 years ago you had a post about starting acting classes. Is that a different than the middle school then, I guess?
Yes, I also did for after sophomore year, I did an acting thing as well at the Culture House or went to a class there.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to show you some pictures and just ask you about those. Okay, Julia? Here we go.
Okay.
Nothing too harmful. All right, there's the first one. What is this?
It's from my when I did Cabaret, and I was in the Cabaret as one of the Kit Kat Club patrons for JCCC.
Very cool. What is this?
That's me as the mute for the Fantastics, and that's me sitting behind the people playing Louisa and Matt. And I was supposed to be like the pantomime person who sprinkles snow on them for like the
Okay.
special effects. And I control all the special effects are done manually by assistants to make and it's visible to make the play look obviously like a play and kind of like a circus theme. And then like someone from the original Fantastics production went to this and saw the production, and I thought that was really cool.
That is really cool. And what is
That's
this?
me. That's me when I was like 14 and I was having or like 15, I had like different phases. And so I was trying to do almost like a hippie-ish art thing where it's like to try to do like a almost like an impressionistic kind of photo shoot where it's like, oh, I'm painting like a Renaissance painting and stuff.
Did you really paint that?
No, my mom painted it.
Oh, okay.
It is like she has like a huge like interest in the Italian architecture, and she has some Italian cookbooks also with like the different foods from each province of Italy.
Well, there's worse things
And
to
I've
be
made some of
interested
that.
in.
But I also have some art that I've made and some
Okay.
sketches for like fan art for like different anime stuff.
Yeah. I missed
And
your
there's
art and got your mom's, I guess.
that's me for the Fantastics again in that group photo.
So, what is the Fantastics?
It's a play. It's like based off Le Romanesques about is based off or like kind of similar to Romeo and Juliet, where it's like two kids in the Dust Bowl in Kansas fall in love and they think their parents are against the marriage, but the parents are actually they actually premeditated the marriage and they're making it look like they're star-crossed lovers to manipulate them into getting married for them. And they hired this like magician dude to help them. And he's like this goofy villain dude that's like the Saturday morning cartoon villain almost, and his name is El Gallo, Gallo. He's like almost Spanish flamenco inspired. And like all
Yeah.
the zany kind of cartoon slapstick stuff happens in the
The
play.
rooster. The rooster, I think is what that means in
Yep.
Spanish. What is this?
That's me at the rehearsal for the Fantastics.
Okay. Whoop.
And
Going
that's
wild
me with
here.
the cast in the costumes. And there's me in kind of like a circus y costume. It's and there's like the other people from the production. And there's Rosa as Mortimer, dressed in like the 1700s ish hat, like the pirate, and next to Rob Skulls, who played, I'm trying to remember, but he played like the Shakespearean dude that was like overly confident. Is like, "Sir, the players have arrived," kind of like old speak. And he's playing kind of like this 1700s ish aristocrat dude from the scene where they trick Matt in the white shirt into coming onto a fake adventure with them to like trick him. And then behind Matt and Louisa is El Gallo, which is Ken Koval. And then next to Ken is Brad and also Alvin, who are playing the two dads from the play.
Very cool. And this was an action shot. This was a video I took a snapshot of. What are you doing here?
That's me from summer 2024 when I was taking a ballet class. And I also like to go to the JCCC gym to practice stuff. And that's when I was really into ballet stuff. So I
I
did
got you in
that
midair.
almost
I got
every
you. That's midair
like
right there.
night. Yeah.
You might have gone higher, so that might not have been a perfectly timed picture, but that's the best I could do. What's this?
This is us during the weird cast party night where after one of the like shows, we went to IHOP to have like a cast dinner, but there's like a high school thing happening where athletes from like one high school were already having their like game day dinner, and we didn't know where to go. So we canceled our reservation there and we tried to find like different restaurants in Olathe to go to. And we went to like Old Chicago Pizza, but they weren't taking any more people because there's only one person working there. And then we tried to go to like Black Bear Diner, or maybe not, but like we didn't know where to go. So we were just like, what if we go to McDonald's? And we were like, what the frick? Who goes to McDonald's for a cast party? But we went to McDonald's anyways because we had nowhere else to go. And we're eating McDonald's and we're like, this is so like unclassy to go to McDonald's for a cast party and stuff.
I like it.
And then, but eventually the cast did then go to like Old Chicago or like a similar place, or like Tanner's after that. They went to, it's just that one night that was kind
Yeah,
of freaky and also kind of funny.
that's funny. What are you doing here?
That's me during that acting class from when I was 16, and I was playing the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, and I was reading lines off a paper for that activity. And it was like the scene where Belle is going through the Beast stuff, and the Beast is going after her because he doesn't want her to find out his past, and like as revealed through all the like treasures of the castle.
Very cool.
And that's me when I did a play about the Blackwell Insane Asylum written by a student at JCCC, where I played a patient called Irene, who is a mute patient, who she wasn't a real person in the Blackwell Insane Asylum, but she was like a dramatized like character based on the real novel by Nellie Brown. And like, or like Nellie Blee, but like her fake name was Nellie Brown. And like
Yeah.
I was at the table where I'm like forced to be punished. No,
Mhm.
well, I'm being punished for like trying to sneak more food onto my plate. And I'm forced to be punished with this other woman from the becomes a lead character from the like she was also put in the insane asylum for like having an abortion and like going crazy because her boyfriend left her and like I get into a fight with her and I try to choke her and I get dragged away and I get beaten by the insane asylum staff
Wow.
as Irene. And I think is a really interesting play based off the real story. Is like insane asylums are like really they're kind of goofy, but they're also really sad because like they had these really weird like mad scientist kind of procedures that they do to the disabled patients, but they'd also like there's a lot of strife and like a lot of pain and sadness that would happen, and these people would experience a lot of this pain just because they were disabled or because they were going through life stress or even because they were immigrants and like they didn't know English, but they put them in the insane asylum because they spoke like there's a dude that came to America, but he only spoke like Danish, and they put him in an insane asylum because he couldn't speak English.
Wow.
There's a
Yeah.
character in this play who is French that was put in the insane asylum because
Wow.
she only spoke French.
Interesting. I'll talk to you more about that kind of stuff here in a moment if you'd like. What's this?
That's me as the mute again, and this time in my sequin jacket that I wore for the duration of the play. In that other photo, I had the jacket off because sometimes I'd get hot in this jacket, but this is when I was doing the actual play and I had it on.
Very cool. What
And
is
that's me.
this?
That's from Cabaret, and that's from the JCCC theater. And that was the other people I played the patrons in the Kit Kat Club with. And we were like, we had to create like our own characters for that, where we'd like it'd be like different backgrounds, like, oh, I'm a rich lady, or oh, I'm a dude from Ireland who traveled to Germany, or I'm a veteran. And we make our own backgrounds for the characters. And we did a thing where we some of them would like pretend to get taken away by the Gestapo for Cabaret during like the middle of the play to like as more like special effects. And then something cool we did with that play also is that we gave out like flyers with like Nazi propaganda to the audience to be like, oh shit, what's happening? As they begin to realize like what's really happening in this play, and kind of this uneasiness sets in with the audience as they watch like the rise of the Third Reich in the dude from Cliff Bradshaw from Cabaret also realizes that something's happening in Germany and that he needs to leave before things get really bad.
Well, what do you like about plays? Why do you keep doing them?
I like doing plays and I want to get more to film, but I like plays because they give me more opportunities to network and also gain experience. And they're also fun if there's something historical to me, like the Insane Asylum or like Cabaret. And they're also fun because I get to make friends there in the acting community.
That's good. I worked for Department of Mental Health for many years, and one of the most interesting things they did at the very beginning, there was a guy who retired after I started, but he used to tell us, it was in Missouri, but I'm sure there's a lot of parallels. Kansas. Um, he gave the whole history of the mental health system and the psychiatric centers in the state. And we started out with one in Fulton in the middle of the state. And then when the Civil War came about, they had Confederates came in and like harassed or beat up the people that were from St. Louis because they knew they would be Union. And so St. Louis took their people and brought them to St. Louis like on a boat where they sang Christmas carols so they wouldn't be attacked in the Civil War. And they took them and people lived in people's basements and stuff for like 4 years while they built the St. Louis State Hospital. And the St. Louis State Hospital they used to have where people could pay money just to walk around the grounds, like on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, I've
And
heard of that too
yeah,
with
yeah,
Bedlam, where they turn it into a tourist attraction to see the insane people.
yeah. But you could at one
And
point,
that's also kind of objectifying.
yeah, you could at one point like pay to get someone put in. You could say, I think
Yes.
this person should be put in because they wanted them because they were doing labor. And then it was hard to get out because you had people
It's
working
like
in fields and it was hard to get people
they would
out.
like they would like kind of coax people into getting free slavery,
Yeah, it was
easy
horrible.
slavery out of it.
Horrible, horrible time. I'm so glad the world is different, at least in that front,
Yep.
than it used to be.
Now all you got to do is like take Wellbutrin and stuff, and people are like, "Oh, but meds have this," but like at least that's better than insane asylums
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff. And with like meds, people can be free.
yeah, absolutely. So have you done any films?
I did do a student film for a dude from JCCC for his short horror film called Mannequin 2, where it's about two paramedic students and they have to like learn how to do CPR on the mannequins. But like one of them breaks the mannequin's head and they have to like put it back on and pretend nothing happened. But like the mannequins, they're haunted. And when they close up the class and they try to go like back home, the mannequins come to life and they chase them.
That
And so
sounds like a good
a
horror movie.
reporter. I played a reporter at the end that is like breaking news. People found dead at the paramedic school. We don't know what happened. It's very mysterious. Except when I was doing that, I was having trouble with the script. And so like they had to do like a pre-recorded thing. And so yeah, that's kind of like my lesson. Try to like always be prepared and stuff. But I think it's like a great idea for like a horror movie. It's kind of funny. It's like something that I want to explore is horror comedy, especially with like writing, where
Yeah.
it's like or like comedy horror.
Do you write as well?
I'm trying to get more into writing as I've been getting all my new medication that'll help with that and help me focus more on that because I have ADHD. And then I was thinking of like writing scripts for that.
Yeah, I like horror whenever it's just a mundane thing like a CPR mannequin, and then it becomes something scary. I think that's wonderful. Um, what was it like learning the lines? So I know whenever you've done plays, they are relentless with all the practice. But when
Yep,
you do films, a lot of times your first practice with other people that are going to be in it is the first day on set.
yep.
So what was that like? Tell me about the differences.
For me, we had because it was a student film, the filming was kind of chaotic for the schedule. And like I went to a couple different like shooting dates, but didn't film until like the third day I was on set. And those days were like had some time between each other from like filming. And I remember I came to the set back in like February of like 2024 and they're filming stuff. But they're like, we're gonna have you film in like the summer. And I was like, okay. And I went there and they're like, we're gonna have you wait a little bit more. And I was like, okay. And then I finally filmed the stuff and I had trouble trying to recite my lines because I had gotten all my stuff ready for the February shoot and I had forgotten for like the summer shoot because I was also doing all my other stuff for like school. So yeah.
So, did you have a good experience on film?
Yeah.
Do you want to
The kids,
continue to, are you wanting to lean into theater or film a little more in the future? Where do you see yourself?
I want to do more film. I want to do more film because like film is the main like acting format. I want to get more into that to also get into like bigger projects within the acting industry.
So, uh, you went to Johnson County Community College. Did you get a degree in theater?
I'm going there for a liberal arts degree because they don't technically have like a theater degree. So I'm doing liberal arts while also doing theater stuff on the side. So I'm also studying some other stuff like linguistics, which I'm really interested in, and also some history, where I did an intensive for East Asian history from ancient times into modern.
Okay. Did you go to Olathe? Are you from Olathe?
I went to Olathe North High School and I'm from Olathe and it's really close to me. And I
Okay.
went there for geoscience program.
I just didn't know. One of them has like a filming program. It might be Olathe Northwest. They have like where they learn how to do short films and they act and they write and their crew and everything in the high school. You didn't do that in high school though. That wasn't yours, high school?
No, but I did try to audition for one of those for someone's project where they were from like Olathe Northwest. And I think they were one of those people and they had an ad in like the Casey Actor Facebook group for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the Actors and Filmmakers Kansas City group is a wonderful group.
That's how I
Um,
found also the cast theater people. And trying to get into one of their productions, and I didn't yet because I was doing the Fantastics with Pierce Productions. But I want to try to get into their productions because I think that'll be both a great monetary but also good theater experience opportunity for me and for singing, so I can show more of my singing skill to people.
oh, being a musical maybe.
Yeah, I'm just auditioned for the Adams Family for Pearson Productions.
Cool. What would be the ideal role for you and the ideal format?
I'd love to be something gothic like Lucy Westenra, and like Theater in the Park has something that's coming up in the fall for Dracula, which has that. Or maybe like if I do a film, it'd also be cool to do like a horror film because I'm kind of into like the spooky stuff.
Do you want to be the vampire or the victim of the vampire? Like which sounds more appealing?
I feel like I'd want to be the sexy vampire, but I think it'd also be fun to do like Lucy or I think her name is in because I have Dracula up here.
Oh, okay, you've got it right there.
Mina Murray from Dracula.
Oh, okay, okay. Which character was that? I'm
She was she was like Jonathan Harker's wife. or fiance.
Oh, whenever he went away, she was the one who then came later to find him.
Yeah, when he was trapped in the castle.
Very cool. What do you like plays in the first place?
I like plays because also it's like an exercise and it's kind of satisfying to do that exercise in person and kind of that improvisation.
Yeah, and you said before you like being part of the group. Did you feel similar with the film? Like, because I always think of theater as those people around each other constantly for hours and hours, day after day after day. But in a movie, you might have a little bit of that, but it's not quite the amount of time that you have in theater.
Yeah, it's like you do form kind of like a niche by doing theater where you find people that kind of repeat a lot of the same productions, especially at JCCC, especially when you are with a specific company repeatedly.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone else, maybe a high school person who's going to graduate and they say, I want to get into theater? What would you tell them?
I think that JCCC did have a lot of great opportunities for me. I'm glad that I went there for theater because like the theater teachers there are also actors in the local community and they can help you network with that. And then they're also really friendly teachers like Scott Stackhouse and Scott Cox are really good teachers from JCCC and also Audrey in the theater department and they lead the shows and we alternate between who directs each show for each semester.
Okay, that's cool. How do you put emotions into roles? If it has a really like you have to be angry or you have to be sad, like how do you put it in there?
I think about something similar I've experienced to that, and I try to think of how similar that feels to what's in the role. And then also trying to put myself into the character's shoes in like thinking about their unique experience and try to like kind of emphasize with them to make it realistic. And then also almost thinking about their character archetype as well, or their person archetype. And then they could even be like multiple person archetypes.
I like it whenever there's a character arch, and I also like it when I think it is so funny to act one way around one character and a different way around another. Like be kind and sweet to this person and then like dismissive or something. I just think that's fun to have where you're not just a simple cutout role.
I really like how the mute kind of has that sass, which she almost has that bitch please kind of sass. And she's supposed to be kind of like the person who exposes all the imperfections of the other characters in the Fantastics. Because like she exposes kind of the moody teenagers who are the lovers, and then also the dads. They're kind of stuck up with each other. And then even her master El Gallo, that she's the magician's assistant to, she kind of exposes him as well. And I'm gonna let my cat out of my room.
Okay, no problem.
Here she is.
I probably laughed and ruined it, and the screen went on me instead of the cat. So sorry.
It's all right.
What have you learned uh, in theater? What have you learned?
In theater, I've learned I've learned kind of how to socialize better because in high school I kind of had an alone phase, so theater helped me get to know the community better. But also with that was the neurodiversity support club I went to at JCCC that helped with that. But then also like theater helped me like get to know more humanities. It also kind of taught me like literary and script analysis.
Hey, explain script analysis to me.
It's analyzing the style and like the intention of a script and how it's written and the intention of like the author in like certain literary cues in like also certain morals and kind of like literary analysis but applied to a script, but also the theater aspect such as like cues for the actors and like cues for setting and
Hey,
like art style of how the play is supposed to be viewed.
thank you. Have you lived in Kansas City area all your life?
Yes.
Okay. Always on the Kansas side?
Yep.
All
I'm pretty
right.
much a Olathe Overland Park native.
All
Where I live
right.
in Olathe, but I go to Overland Park
Have you
for
traveled the whole city? Have
jobs.
you been to Kansas City North before? Kansas City, Missouri?
Yeah,
Do you eat
I've got
barbecue anywhere?
yes.
Where's the best barbecue place in the Kansas City area? Either side of the border.
I really like the Jack Stacks. I like their burnt ends.
That is
And then,
probably the most popular place with Joe's a close second.
and then I also like our local Asian stuff. I like going for sushi as well, and then Korean food.
Oh, where do you go for that?
There's a couple of Korean chicken places in KC, and there's like a popular bulgogi place in Overland Park. But then sake sushi in Olathe in like the Strang Line Road shopping mall across in like the same lot as Texas Roadhouse and AMC next to
Okay.
Target also has sushi.
Well, I am not as big a sushi fan as a lot of people, but I'll tell you something in Overland Park that I went to that I thought was absolutely wonderful. Magic Noodle. I loved that place. Have you ever been there?
No, I've been to the boba place before.
Okay. Okay.
That's like in I think it's could be close to Barnes and Noble, but I also like going to Pan Asia and the 888 market that has Asian food
Yeah.
that's imported for the Asian immigrants that live here in Kansas City. And they have stuff like tteokbokki, which is like cylinder shaped rice noodles in a pepper sauce that's fermented from Korea. And also, they have different fruits that are imported from Asia. And like, they have different types of ramen. And also, they have a fish market there.
Wow.
And like, they also have fermented vegetables like kimchi there that I like to get. And also fermented soybeans called natto from Japanese cuisine.
I love it. I love Korean food, by the way. That is one of my favorite, even though I don't go very often, but bulgogi, dweje bulgogi. I like both of those. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but it's, the beef bulgogi and
That's
then
me,
the
IRL.
pork bulgogi.
Yeah,
I love it. Do you have any place here in Kansas City that they let you cook it yourself?
I'm sure that that's that one bulgogi place. But like most similar, because I've mostly ordered online from that place. But like the Another place I've been to that's in person was the Mongolian barbecue, where you get to choose your
Yes,
toppings,
I love
and
that
then
kind of
you
stuff.
they grill it for you and serve it to you.
Yeah,
I
I
went
like those.
there in like 2021 that summer.
Well, if you ever get a chance, I think Who Hot is spectacular. They don't have any in Kansas City though, but there's one in
Hmm.
Springfield, and they're all over the U.S. And they are the like probably it's the biggest Mongolian barbecue place I've ever seen. And they don't put limits on you like get your roll and we'll put it on rice. No, you put whatever you want in that bowl, and they cook it, and you can get rice or not. It's like it's really good. Who Hot.
It's kind of like is it? It sounds almost like Golden Corral, but Mongolian.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But you pick up all like it has like pork, beef, shrimp, imitation crab, sausage, like all that. And then it has like onions, peppers, broccoli, mushrooms, cilantro, eggs you can put on there, all the different types of noodles. And then they have maybe a dozen or more sauces, but they have rows of sauces so that you don't have to wait behind one person. I think it's like four sauce places. Like it's spectacular.
That's also like this one Chinese buffet place I went to one time in Olathe. That's in downtown Olathe on Santa Fe slash 135th Street,
Hmm.
next close to the intersection of 135th and Merlin. That has like all the Chinese food and then also desserts like ice cream and jello
Hmm.
there.
That's awesome. Hey, are any of your plays recorded? Like, did they record any of them?
Mm.
And did they record any of your plays, like to put online, like on
Oh,
YouTube?
yes. They
Where can we
recorded
find them?
they have like the Cabaret play that's like an unlisted YouTube video, but it might be mainly for JCCC students. And they also have recordings of the plays from like Pearson production shows, but they keep those to themselves for copyright. And I'm kind of mad at that because I want to use those for like acting reels,
Yeah.
but they're like, it's our stuff because they're like a small theater company, so they keep it for like so no one else monetizes it. But I
Yeah.
am kind of like, aw.
Did when you did the acting in film, did they have you tone down stuff, or like how did that work? Like, was there a difference in performance?
Mostly it's just like, okay, do the reporter stuff on over and over again.
Yeah, that sounds
So
right. That sounds
not
right.
really
Okay.
anything I've noticed. I was guessing like I'm guessing for film I just do the theater stuff but in front of a camera. But I know for film they do different techniques because on film it looks different than in person to like get the right artistic view of that.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, and this is me without experience in theater talking, but I've talked to all these people over the years that do both or came over from theater to film, and they talk about how your voice is softer, your hand motions are softer, like everything is more subtle, because you're not trying to communicate to the person in the back of the room. The camera is right here. And so you don't have to do like it's almost underacting for theater people, it seems. Um, if that makes sense, that's what people tell me. It's like real muted compared to what they're used to. But some people like it a lot better. And some people
Yeah,
don't.
I could see how it's more comforting to people and how like theater might be like all over the place and it's kind of associated with theater kids, quote unquote, while film is like, okay, here's act one or like here's like your cue and they're like cool
Yeah.
and they just do it.
Yeah, the theater, like you do it like somebody posted something on Actors and Filmmakers Kansas City, and they said, "What do you like better, acting or film, and why?" And Dan Fecht had one of the best answers. He said he's done both. He's been in plays. He's also, he did dinner theater. He's done live performances and stuff. For the last, I don't know, 10 years or more, he's just done film as far as I know. And he said what he liked better about film is he said you go out in theater and you do the best performance of your life and there's no record of it. And someone says, great job. Do that again tomorrow. And in film, you get like you saw maybe if everything's perfect, remember your lines, everything, there's no shadows, whatever, you might do three takes like this. If it's just you, and maybe one or two from here or a couple from farther back, and then you move on and whatever you memorized, you never have to remember again, which in some ways it's kind of
It's
sad. You
like,
spend hours doing it and then you're done, but I don't know.
and then like it's recorded, and there's more of like a sacredness to film, that your work is preserved for the future.
Yeah, here's the thing that I'll just tell you the gripe about film. Okay. And I wasn't there, but let's say your second take was perfect. Okay. You do three takes like this, real close, mid shots from chest to the top of the head, and they do three shots like that. And the second one you do is perfect. Then they do two shots farther away, and then they want to do a side angle. That way they can cut to something else and cut back to you. And so they do a total of three to the front, two far away, two from the side. And then in the editing room, someone likes the side view better, even though that
Mhm.
second take was perfect. And then you watch it and you think, why did they use that take? My second take was perfect. That's what people in film do.
Mhm.
But I can tell you a way around it if you're editing. You don't put it out for 2 years and then people see it and they've forgotten that the second take was best. That's your way around it. What are you eating?
It's Greek yogurt, and then I
Oh,
have a pretzel roll from the new theater.
oh, are you in the new theater or what's going on with that?
My mom works at the new theater, and so she
Oh,
brings home pretzel rolls sometimes and food from there.
well, the new theater, I've seen one play
I'm
there. It's absolutely wonderful.
I'm I want to get into the new theater sometime, and I've auditioned for them before.
Probably very competitive.
I know that's the thing. With like Pearson, I think I found a great opportunity because like they seem neurodivergent friendly, and they seem also very open and warm kinds of people. And there's
What do you
also a lot of actors that audition for them from the scene, like the
what
local scene.
what do you do whenever you're not acting or working in theater or you're not in school? What do you do?
I like to draw.
Do you have any drawings nearby?
Yes.
Let's take a look at some of these drawings. This is great. What do we have?
It's my dad's porch, and it's a drawing I made when I got my contacts this year. And I was like, I can see. And I'm glad I'm on contacts so I don't have to wear glasses and they don't have to fly off my face when
Yeah.
I'm doing a dance audition, which happened for Urinetown. And this is some stuff.
What is that?
I drew my iPhone, and then
Oh,
it's
okay.
stuff in like Japanese because it was at Japan Club for JCCC. And this is the JCCC Japan Club meeting
That's
that I get.
awesome. That is awesome.
It also has like newspaper cartoon style. And then I found from like, it's good to sketch real people. And I've tried to copy other cartoons, and that does work, but like, it helps me develop some art style, but it's kind of like, it comes out janky because it's already a cartoon style. But if I draw real people, then it looks more natural. And if
Hmm.
it's not as realistic, it'll still be fine in a that cartoon style from drawing the real people. And this is from the Danganronpa stage play of Nagito and Hajime during the beach scene.
Wow. So you are an artist of all types.
Yes.
And what is this?
It's Nagito and Hajime from the manga for Danganronpa. And it's where Nagito is kind of turning insane in front of Hajime, and Hajime's like, dude, you're freaking me out, bro. Because Nagito's like the insane character.
Very cool. Maybe one more. Choose a really good one. But say something when you choose it, otherwise it'll be on me. It follows the noise.
I drew this for April 28th, where everyone in the Danganronpa fandom says happy birthday to Nagito, even though he's crazy. Because, like, he's crazy, but he's also a really fun villain kind of character. So you're like, happy birthday, actual crazy person.
That's funny. What do you think makes somebody good at something?
I think it's like, it's practice and, like, also a keen eye to detail. And, like, it's also, you could say part of it is also the passion of repeating and wanting to like do the task over and over again because you enjoy it, or like you want to find like your goal, and so you keep practicing it until you perfect it.
A great answer. Let's see. Okay, let's see your next picture. Say something so we can see it.
This is Dio and Baby Giorno, and he is a vampire dude that's kind of like an androgynous kind of David Bowie vampire villain from the anime JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And he has an illegitimate son called Giorno who becomes a dude in the mafia. And this is baby Giorno before his hair turns blonde magically when he gains his powers. And Dio is the dude with the blonde hair and the red eyes.
Oh, very cool. You are an
I
excellent
based it
artist.
off of this because I also have an interest in Orthodox Christianity. And yesterday at youth group, they gave me some iconography.
Um, let's see. So, dance. Tell me about your experience in dance.
I've been doing, so I did some ballet, and then I've also learned some jazz dance from doing musicals. And I've also done some dance from, because like I went to Crescendo Conservatory, and I also got experience from that.
Good. What is the hardest part about performing, whether it's acting or dancing or singing? What's the hardest part?
It's trying to perform in front of a crowd and like trying to like remember all of your steps and trying to make it look smooth and trying to stay with the ensemble so it all comes together in an orchestra.
And how do you achieve it then? How do you,
There's some part of like radical acceptance where it's like, oh, it's not going to be perfect, just do the steps. And then also that same kind of practice and work.
Well, good. Are there any roles that you're currently going to be applying for or anything that you're going to be performing coming up soon?
Probably I could be Wednesday Adams in these callbacks for the Adams family.
That
And
would be
then I'd
great.
also like to do theater in the park where they have some dance roles.
Okay. Um, Anything that you thought maybe we would talk about today that we haven't spoken about?
There's something like we kind of already talked about history and like historical drama. I think that's really cool. And then the kind of horror and wanting to do like horror movies. And I'm really into like creepypasta. It's like where it's internet horror stories that people write and put on Reddit or creepypasta forums. And they're like short horror stories that are kind of Lovecraftian inspired or like kind of like slasher inspired as well. And they become like a unique genre of horror on the internet. And also like some of them have a reputation for being kind of silly because they're written by amateur writers, but a lot of them have become like really great stories and also their own novels, like Tales from the Gas Station is a really good one that I like listening to because there's also an audiobook form and there's a dude that narrates all the creepypastas called Mr. Creepypasta on YouTube. And then also another audiobook he's done is Bonesaw Vic's Cryptozoological Gardens, where a dude gets a secret job at this mafia run zoo that captures mythical creatures and cryptids and turns them into zoo animals for rich people in mafioso to go to and see.
Wow.
And like he has like this vampire that is kind of snarky, who is like a former gangster who kind of acts rude because he's mad that he's kept as a vampire in the zoo. And then they have a skinwalker Navajo dude who's like a shaman that turned into a skinwalker. That's kind of like a morally gray character because he helps the protagonist find the person who murdered the little ghost girl in one chapter, but he also likes to fuck with the protagonist dude who's kind of this like artist, kind of like grunge dude, stoner, who gets this job because he's like, all right, I'll do this for like a gig.
Yeah.
And then there's the little ghost girl who got murdered and they still haven't found her murder. And like they have to find the dude who killed her in this weird psychedelic like dimension that the protagonist goes on with the skinwalker after they take like psychedelics from the shaman. And then like there's also Bigfoot and they also have like a mermaid siren or they know it's like they have a nymph lady who has like a pond exhibit that she lives in, like a river nymph.
Very cool. Hey, anything else, like thought of the day or words of wisdom before we say so long? Any of that? Words of wisdom, thoughts of the day.
Just like acting's cool, and also do unto those as you'd want to do to yourself, and love thy neighbor. Just like, oh, here's some Christian stuff. I'll say goodbye, guys. And like, it's nice talking to you. Just peace.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, Julia.
Thank you, and have a good day.
You too. Thanks.